Hi everybody, it's 2 in the afternoon on Wednesday, and hopefully you have all received a packet in the mail full of little bits and pieces like this, and you're probably wondering why you received it. And it's because I appreciate you being my VIPs. I made these really fast little postcards with the date. I didn't realize I left that on there, so sorry about that. But basically, every other month, I like to send my VIPs a little card making kit. And this month, it looks a little different because what happened was I had a card in mind, which I will use next time. But this particular die cut kit went on sale for like 15 bucks. And I've had my eye on it for a while. It's called Crafting Shapes. And I'm trying to get rid of the glare. And it's basically a bunch of die cuts. And sorry, my cat and my dog are acting up in the background. Sorry. Anyway, it's basically a bunch of die cuts. And what's really different about this one is that it's layers of things. So, for example, the glue bottle, you get the shape of the glue bottle plus the little square that says glue and the topper. And you put them together like paper piecing. And same way with, you know, the little brushes. There's brush tips. There is even a little tiny little tip for a piece of color if you wanted to put paint on the end of the brushes. There's a little tip for the pencil. There's all kinds of pieces in here. And I just thought, oh my gosh, this is so fun, but it's probably not something that everyone is going to buy because it's kind of specialty, and how often are you going to use it? $15 is a great deal, but you know, you got to think about what you would use it for. And I kept thinking, gosh, this would be great for like school pages or any kind of history pages, scrapbook pages, Christmas prep, you know, any kind of things, because you've got like tape and rulers and pencils. And anyway, I just had a ton of ideas going through my head. I had to have it. I got it. And then I thought, what a great kit to use for my VIP group. So normally I would say, you know, this is going to be a cool card, but I wanted to send you all the shapes, and obviously all the shapes are a lot more than a card. And not only that, but it's a little much. There are a bunch of sayings to do with sewing. So, you know, you're so great, you're such a good friend, you're so wonderful kind of thing. And look at that cute needle, and I cut it out of the silver foil cardstock or foil paper, and so that's really neat. You'll notice a lot of the pieces I've used that metallic-y silver colored cardstock to add to the pieces, and it made a great stapler too. Isn't that fun? I just love it. And the scissors are to die for. Now I left the scissors as two pieces because then when you glue them down, you can make them opened or closed. Whatever project you're making, you can do what you wish. So I thought that was a pretty cool idea. And then I added a few messages to it. I did not add card messages because there's just so many. You know, I'll stick to you like glue. You know, there's all kinds of pun type of messages about memories and things like that. But I like this creativity is the way I share my soul with the world. And it's a quote by Brene Brown, and not everybody, first of all, I couldn't get it to fit on the die cut I wanted to use to put her name on it, but I thought, so I sent that on an extra piece of cardstock in case you wanted to add it. I did not use it. So I'm going to set it aside for me. I did do a few little shapes or a couple little messages out of this set. This was for the love of crafting, and it was a stamp of the month last year. And I thought many of you have this, or so you could add whatever you want to it. You don't even have to use what I did. And I also used some Cricut shapes. This one is a Cricut shape, so are these. I loved making Cricut shapes. I'm going to set those up here for a minute. And this is the little film strip from the In Full Bloom card making set. I just cut a whole bunch of them. And this is a die that came with a set last year that I just absolutely love. It's still available, and I sent you a couple of pieces. I sent you a longer piece and a shorter piece, and the reason I've sent you all of this is because I thought this time I am gonna do I'm going to scooch these out of the way. I am going to do a scrapbook page. I've been wanting to send you a scrapbook page for a while. And I've been redoing my scrapbook room for a bit. And I bought this 12 by 12 frame. And I am going to I'm going to make this super dimensional. Nothing's glued down yet. I'm going to make it super dimensional. I'm going to make it my own. And I am going to hang it in my scrapbook room. I love of having something in there of me. And I'm going to put a picture of me crafting. And if you don't want to hang it, I understand. You don't even have to do anything like this. You can do your own thing. Use the parts and pieces all separately. It doesn't matter to me. But I just wanted to kind of stress that it's kind of important for us to tell our own stories about how we got involved in crafting, what kinds of things we like creating, and you can use as much or as little as you want. So today I am going to show you how I put this together, and you can do your own thing entirely, okay? So the first thing I want to do is make a background. Now, I want to show you how I did the texture. This texture paste is the same texture paste that I did on the layouts that I sent last month. And I wanted to kind of create something with that using a different color. And the reason I chose yellow, it's not my favorite color, but because it helped balance this layout that I'm making, since we're using, you know, this is the only other yellow really on the page. There's only like a couple of things of yellow. And I thought this will be in the background. It will be subtle. And I want to show you how to do it. If you don't have texture paste, no worries. You do your own thing. You can stencil. You can spatter. You can, whatever you wish. Anything you wish. So I have like an all-purpose mat here. This is like a mat where you can just get messy and it wipes right off. And I'm going to show you how to, let me get all these little pieces up here out of the way. I'm afraid I'm going to get them all messed up. Not that it really matters. I'm using one of the stencils from one of the card front sets, and you can probably see it best maybe on white. You can kind of see that pattern. And I'm not using it full on. I'm just going to use part of it. So, and then I have a jar of the opaque matte texture paste, and you'll notice I I bought the bigger jar, and to keep it nice and wet, because you don't want it to dry out if you're just using it bits at a time like I do, I use saran wrap or press and seal or something over it so that it stays nice and moist. My daughter hates that word so much. So I'm just basically going to use a little tiny dab, and I'm going to put it on there, and then I'm just going to close this back up, and I just want to seal it just like that. And that way the air doesn't dry it out. There you go. I do that with ice cream too. I know, an aside. Now today I'm going to use some Distress Oxides because I want to distress some things, and I want to use that yellow, and Distress Oxides work amazing with this, but you can use your stamp pads no problem. As a matter of fact, that's what I used. I'm just smearing a little bit on my all-purpose mat. It's hard to see, but there's just a smudge of yellow on there now. But you can use your any color you want, any ink pad you have, to mix with this. Basically, what I'm going to do is pick this up and smush it into that yellow. And the idea of it is to mix the color with the paste and make a color that you like and get it all blended. It's kind of like mixing food coloring and frosting, just like that. And this is a soft color, and that is totally fine. I don't have any, you know, it's all personal taste. Okay, so back to my page. I am just going to, I know on my page there was a little blank area up here, like in all of the corners kind of, and basically I'm just gonna smear some on and then lift my stencil, and down here same thing. I'm gonna smear some on like frosting, and then just put my spatula kind of straight and lift it back off. Now, if you want to just stencil with ink and not use the paste, no problem, do that. Or don't do it at all. Maybe you like it more clean in the background. That's fine. I just wanted to be a little bit like this. Just a background with texture paste. I could even have added a smidge of glitter or whatever to that. It doesn't matter. Now, the main thing about using texture paste is that you need to make sure that you wipe it off of your tools pretty quick, because if it dries, it really does dry hard. And so here I have, I'm going to scooch that over. I have that. I'm going to put this in the garbage. I have a wet one that I'm going to use over my stencil, and front and back. And then I'm just going to set that to dry. And I'm going to clean off my mat with a wet paper towel or a baby wipe. And set that aside to dry. Okay. That's all my super messy stuff. But I wanted to show you that, how to do that if you want to create a background like that. Now I have one that I've let sit for a couple hours. I did this around 11 o'clock and it's dry completely. And I'm trying to think. It's crunchy feeling. It feels like you put cement or something on there, right? It's hard. So that is that. Now the next thing I want to do to distress my page a little bit is I want to use the black. I used a black photo mat for mine, and so I'm going to use some Distress Oxide in Black Soot. And I'm basically, I just want it a little roughed up. I don't really, let me get this in here again. Hold on a minute. I just want to get this on my table. So I'm just putting this around the edges. Now, my frame is a 12 by 12 frame. It won't show these very edges. Even if I make it real subtle right there, it won't show the very edge. It'll be behind the frame a little bit. So if I want it to show, I've got to move it in just a little bit. Now, if I was putting this in a scrapbook, I wouldn't make this so dramatic looking. I would have, I'm just gonna swoop that on there. I'm not really being careful. I don't need it to be because I want it to look a little messy. Okay, so there's that. Okay, now the other thing, I know, right? It doesn't look like much right now. The other thing I want to do is I want to add some splatters to this. Now I'm using a shimmer pen in black. With shimmer pens, you always shake them up before you use them, before you take the cap off, because they can be messy if you shake them without the cap on. Now, I'm just, most of this is going to be covered up, right? It's not really going to show. Let me just get a little scrap paper. Okay, sorry, I had to get my brush a little wet. The closer you hold it, the bigger the splatters, and I like it to look splattery, and I like you to be able to see the dots. So you can see I've grunged up my page. Now you do not have to do this. You can make your page sleek and beautiful. You may notice I did not grunge up this page. This page is just white. You could even put it on a color, any color you want. Now let's set this aside just for a second and get your pieces ready. So pull in a few of the pieces. One of the pieces is this pink page. This is flamingo pink, and I put it through with an embossing folder. And you can leave it just like this, or you could ink it and make that embossed area really pop out and stand out. Or you can do like me. I have this sanding block. This is like a nail file, or whatever you have, and if you run it over the surface kind of flat and even, it makes that whole embossed area kind of pop. And so this is how I wanted to do mine on my page. I wanted the embossed area to really stand out. So there you go. How's that? So you can see what I'm talking about. When you sand, because Close to My Heart cardstock has a white core, you're sanding some of the color off and showing the white core on the inside. Or you can just use it plain, or you could use an ink over it. If you just imagine, like if you wanted to, this is the back, but if you ran ink lightly over your piece in whatever color that you like, it'll make that embossed area really stand out. Okay, so I'm going to use this side though. Now this Distress Oxide is Vintage Photo, and I kind of wanted to, this is a little too white for me. These pieces are just a little too white. So I wanted to distress those a little. I want to color in the letters. Now you can color in the letters any way you wish. Like I said, if you don't want to color them, you don't have to. I just keep saying that because some people are like, I don't scrapbook, honey. I only make cards. This is out of my box. This isn't the kind of page I want to make anyway, or whatever. Just make it into a card or, you know, whatever you want to make. So I'm just going to color in these letters because I want them to stand out. I kind of chose this pink and blue sort of theme because I thought most people like one or the other, and neither one is like the bolder of the two. Like if you like pink, the pink will stand out. If you like blue, the blue will definitely stand out. So I just figured this would appeal. I love that. I like that darker. I'm gonna go through that again. So, what's everybody else doing today? I have been walking my dog, trying to not get caught in the rain, which has been a little tricky. Another rainy, gloomy day. They keep warning us that we could have golf ball sized hail today, but I think that's later tonight. And you know, honestly, when I like that darker. When I think about going through hail again, I'm like, oh God. I imagine this is what Margie feels like whenever they have like tornado warnings. I'm like, please, no tornadoes. I can't go through all of this house repair stuff again, not to mention the storm itself. Anyway, so I just colored in some of the letters there. Okay, vintage photo. There we go. I'm gonna put it on my blending brush and I'm just gonna go around the edges a little bit. This is one of those bracket dies. See, this is one of the things I really try to do for my VIPs when I send these kits, is like send you a variety of things so you can see them and you can look at them and say, gosh, you know, I think I would use that. Or maybe you didn't ever even notice it was available. Or maybe you would never buy it and this is just a great way to use the product, you know, just one time that you wouldn't normally buy. Okay. So I've just, not a lot, just a little, grunged these up just a little bit, not quite so white, and I think I'm ready to put my page together. So I'm bringing this back, and I want you to know that since I'm putting this in a frame and it has a dimensional frame, hi Kelly, I am definitely going to make this dimensional. I am going to use foam tape quite a bit. I'm going to use different layers because I want it popped. I want it popped up. But the very first thing, oh yeah, there's one more thing I wanted to do. This flower, you can leave it just the way it is, or you can kind of make it dimensional. I didn't do anything to everybody's flowers because I thought, honestly, you might even want to do a different color. Maybe you want to use it flat for a card or whatever. But basically, I'm going to make everything dimensional because I want it, like I said, I want it to pop up. I'm going to use this Bluebird ink to just go around the edges of the petals a little bit and add a little color. I think it adds to it. So Kelly, are you guys getting a lot of rain up there? Any bad weather yet? They keep warning us. I'm on the Illinois weather page on Facebook, and one of the ladies posted a picture of some hail that they got yesterday or last night down in Texas, and it was bigger than the lady's hand. They said it was the size of a cantaloupe. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I can't even, you know, I know how much damage just the golf ball sized hail did. I mean, we had to get new siding, new roof. Some of our windows were damaged. I mean, it was crazy. Okay, so I'm not putting adhesive too close to the side because I'm going to do some tucking. I'm not going to push hard on this yet because I want to be able to tuck some things behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and take some of the leaves. I'm going to use some of the leaves like this, and kind of tuck it behind like this. I think I'm going to put it this way. And then I want to make this dimensional. I'm trying to decide if I should show you this as long. I mean, some of these things take me a long time because I'm kind of slow, and I could just lay it out. But I showed you the picture earlier, and you could totally, I'm just taking tape off. You could totally just go back and do a screenshot if you want to copy any parts of what I did. And then the rest of this is just me going blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then I want this a little dimensional too. I'm just going to glue the bottom, and I'm going to put it up here like that. And then I've got my flower. The reason I put tape behind each of the petals is because if they do get smashed down, they still look a little dimensional, which I really like. I love these little arts and crafts supplies. I think they're adorable, but I just want them kind of interspersed. I feel like that glue bottle isn't seen very well. There, I put a little ink on it. Ha! There you go. I could use my pen and outline it a little bit or something. That would be fine. Let's see. Now, let me grab my, where did I put it? I guess I'll use this one. I'm going to use this as my photo mat, right? And I'm going to make it flat. Now, I was going to pop this up, but all the pieces around it are going to be popped. And so I'm just going to lift that a little bit and put it right there. Now this will be a photo of me, and I'm so glad that you're gonna work on this, because I feel like this is a project that is kind of individual. I mean, you think about, I'm gonna put this blue banner down at the bottom. You think about like what each person is kind of into and what their style is, and I feel like this is a little bit out of the box. I feel like this is something that maybe a little stretch, but it's kind of fun at the same time. I'm just putting some glue on this little piece. So we have the bigger piece at the bottom, and the little piece at the top, and I'm just going to hold those down for a minute. I'm going to put my ink pad on there while that dries. Okay, so we have so far this is what we've done. We've done the pink with the flower, a little bit of greenery here and here. The glue bottle, I put the pieces here and here. This little tiny piece right here is a thin cut, and I decided I'm gonna use foam tape on that and pop it up just a little bit. And I wanted it to look like washi tape. And so what I did was I took my scissors and I did that wiggly thing when I cut it. See how I wiggled the edge? You can kind of see it zigzaggy back and forth. I basically just took my scissors and went like that. Saw back and forth while I was cutting. And this is just going to be like washi tape over the top of my picture. I just thought that looked kind of cool. This is the flower that I was on the fence about. I'm gonna pop it up, and I'll probably put it about right there. Maybe I shouldn't pop it. It's pretty dimensional already. And the idea with this flower is that I wanted to bring in a different color, something that was kind of not my usual. And I thought by putting the yellow in, that might stretch me a bit. And then I also have this flower, which I just used with little paper punches. You can put it anywhere. I was thinking about putting it right here, popped up. I'm gonna hold off on that one until I decide for sure. I do know that I like the blue button in the center of that. And so I'm going to put, I think I'm gonna put just a little bit of foam tape and stick that button down on there. There. I kind of like that. I kind of like how the blue kind of ties it together. It works for me. Whatever, right? Okay, so let's start working on this side to create some balance. Now, my plan is to put my message over here, and I don't want my message to cover my photo where I can't get a photo under it. So I am going to have to foam tape this, and the way I like to do that is I like to put foam tape around where there's not going to be any photo. So in my head, I've screwed this up so many times in different ways that I have to really look, like keep laying it down and going, okay, there's not the photo. I don't want to do this section right here because, you know, it'll be right here. So I could do one more piece again around the bottom. On the other hand, I don't like the smushy factor of when you don't put foam tape all around. So the other option, which I know is weird, you guys are going to be like, what are you doing? I'm going to put foam tape here, but I am not going to stick that side down. But that way I have it popped up and I still can slide my photo in. But that one side will not have any tape, okay? So I haven't laid it yet because I still have a couple of pieces I want to put down. I really love this film strip. It's from the card making set, and it's going to be flat. And I could use tape runner, I could use liquid glue like I am here. But basically, I'm just going to put a real thin bit of glue around, just so I can lay it down, and it doesn't matter what it does at the bottom, it matters where it lands at the top, because the bottom will be covered by my message. It's just going to be popping out, right? So however much you want it to show, just like that. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and peel this. I'm only peeling off the 3 sides, remember? Because I need to slide my photo in. And I'm going to put it like that. And see, it's still, so like if this was my photo, I can still slide that behind there, you know? All right. And then you should have, I don't know how much greenery I sent you. I sent you at least a couple of these. I sent you one of these. I think I'm going to go ahead and put this on here. If you don't have one, I apologize. I really did try to send quite a lot of options for you. Just like that, okay? Cool, cool, cool. Now this is the cutest thing. This pencil, okay, you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but I put this pencil together. It basically came as the base, and then I cut out the eraser in pink, the little, you know, silver part in the silver foil cardstock, and then I cut out a little tiny brown tan square to make it, I mean, look at the detail, and it's pencil. And so I kind of want the pencil there so that it looks like I've been writing, just like that. I may have to hold that for a moment for my glue to dry. Ta-da! Isn't that cool? So I just think that looks really neat, and it makes like a little collage look. Okay, over here I want to put my other little messages. One of them, it says, if you can't stand the mess, get out of the craft room. And the other one says, craft today, do housework tomorrow. And so I'm just going to tuck these in, and you can pop them up or glue them, whichever you want. And I'm going to tuck it. You want it tucked so that it can still be read. And remember, I'm not putting anything too close to the outer edges, because I really am going to put this into a frame. And so I don't want to take the chance of it not showing. That would be a bummer, to put all of that, do all that work and have it covered up by my frame. So I'm going to go ahead and, I know you're like, gosh, what's with the foam tape, man? You use a lot of foam tape. And I do. Okay. And there's my other message. And I'm thinking, this other flower looks kind of good there, doesn't it? I like it. So let's pop it up too. I have a lot of different types of pop dots. I have like, you know, the squares, I have the tape. It's all the same to me. I just use it all. Okay, down here at the bottom, it's kind of plain, it's kind of blank, but we still have this that's kind of big. So I definitely want to use the camera, but I'm not sure where. And I have, what do I have left? I have 2 paintbrushes. Now I want you to know, the 2 die cuts I did not send you. There's a little silver flange, or whatever you want to call it, right here that I did not send. It was just so small to cut it out for so many paintbrushes. And then there's also a little teeny tiny piece that you could have put a color of paint on. So let's do paintbrushes. I'm going to put them up here. This is adorable. I sent you some blanks also in case you preferred this to be blue and the middle to be black, or all of it to be blue. I don't care, but I sent you some options there. And I'm gonna glue that down, and I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna have paint squirting out of it. Isn't that fun? It is fun. And then we'll do the paint brushes up there. So let's see, do I want that popped up? That's the big question. Do I want it flat or popped? I think flat. So, and I'm just doing this right on top of where I put that texture paste. It's just so cool. All right, now this is tricky. Now, what's really great for this die cut, like if you bought this set, I would recommend buying the adhesive sheets, because you can put the adhesive sheet onto your paper before you cut this out, and it will be like a sticker on the back. It's so cool. So that's an option. And then I think I'm going to put my paintbrushes up here like that. Yeah, I like it. Okay. Let's see here. So you can see that this is going to be a really cool thing to hang up. But if you were going to put this in your scrapbook, you might consider making a second page that tells like your story. You know, like for example, my story is that I started crafting when I was very young. I had a very crafty mother, and I think down at the bottom I'm going to put a bunch of staples. I'm going to make this like stapled, like chunk, 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 chunk. So I'm going to go ahead and just set that there for a moment. Let me move it up so you can see what I'm talking about. And then maybe I put a story on there about all the things my mother used to do that she taught me, or my grandmother, or that I'm really into cross stitch, or you know, that they used to knit or stitch or whatever. I'm going to take my pink marker. I think I won't use the darkest color. I'm going to go over this pink a little. Sorry, I need to be a little more careful. There, like that. And stick that down. I need a little glue right there. And then I am going to make some X's. Like cross stitch. I just think that looks cool. Because that is something that I do. I love it. It looks so neat. Let's see. Sorry, I'm cleaning off my area. I have scissors. Now the scissors, like I said, I left them in 2 pieces so that you could do them any way you want. You can make them opened, you can make them closed, but I think I want them up here, which is going to take a little finagling with my foam tape. So I will do that off camera when I put my photo on. Maybe I could put it right over here. I haven't decided completely on this one. Oh yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool. All right. And then this is going to get foam taped. My little camera. I think that one thing that is going to get lost with my generation if I don't tell the story on paper, is that I come from a long line of people who did the direct sales. So, for example, you know, I sell close to my heart, but my mother sold Trichem, which is was a kind of painting that looked like X's, and you would do it on fabric, and it was really pretty cool. And I did that as a young child. I mean, I was making my own pillowcases and all kinds of stuff as a kid. And so those are really neat things. And my grandmother sold Tupperware for many, many years. She even got, you know, like the trips and stuff. Okay, I'm going to put this down. You might even have something else kind of crafty themed, or stamps that are just more generic that you want to put in the backgrounds. Whatever you decide to do, make this your own. But that is basically it. That is it. And it's cool. Let me go ahead and move that frame back in so you can see it. Here's the frame. It will be framed in black. Let me just do some close-ups so you can kind of see all the different parts. You could use some shimmer brush and kind of make that really unique and special. And that is what that is going to look like. I may put a little more of this blue cardstock down here, or a saying or something, or a chevron shape, or maybe just something to balance the blue a little more. But honestly, it's done. I'm so glad you like it. That makes me feel so good. You have no idea, because this is like one of those things that I was like, I don't know if I should do this or not. So that makes me feel really good. This is it. So if you hate this, I apologize. I'll go back to sending cards next time. But I just thought, since I'm redoing my craft room and I wanted to be able to hang something special up, this would be a good thing for everybody to have, not just for me. And so while I was making mine, I made some for you. So enjoy it. Have a good afternoon and try to stay dry. Bye-bye.